Good evening mga ka-OnLive! Ito muli si Julius Neil Piala or si Sir P. And today's June 11. It's the second episode of OnLive Talks Season 2. Ikwento mo. At ito'y handog sa atin ng BA Communication and Media Arts Program ng University of the Philippines, Mindanao. Isa itong academic program improvement project and at the same time a public service program. And for this season, tampok natin ang iba't ibang mga kwentong hindi lamang makapagbigay ng dagdag kaalaman, pati na rin dagdag inspiration. Gusto mo yon? Yes, and for tonight, I'm very much pleased to introduce to you my partner and my co-host, live from hindi pala Kalawan, Calamba, Laguna. Please help me welcome Margarita or Meg Salcedo. Hi, Meg!
Hello po, Sir P. At magandang gabi rin sa ating mga ka-OnLive na nakaabang sa bagong season ng OnLive Talks at sa mga contents natin. Talaga pong damang-dama namin ang inyong suporta magmula pa lamang sa pag-ere ng aming first episode na ginanap last May 28. Here on OnLive Talks, we share stories that matter, stories that will surely make us become inspired and better. I'm Margarita Salcedo, streaming live from Calamba City, Laguna, and join us every other Saturday at 6 p.m. via Facebook Live on our official page. That's facebook.com/onlivetalks.2022. Naku mga ka-OnLive, hindi nyo lamang kami sa Facebook marireach dahil nasa Twitter at YouTube na rin tayo. I-follow at mag-subscribe sa OnLive Talks upang manatiling updated sa ating mga kwentuhan. Diba, Sir P?
Yes, that's correct. At of course, abangan ninyo sa OnLive Talks Facebook page ang iba pa nating mga contents. Anyan ang Abinimo, isang very informative set of reels. And of course, we have OnLive Spotlight showcasing stories from our UP Mindanao community members from faculty, staff, students, alumni, at marami pang iba. And alam mo, pag-usapan natin napag-usapan natin last episode ang mental health in relation to post-elections or after elections. But tonight, still on mental health, but let's contextualize this with what we usually struggle. So, by the way, Meg, kamusta ka nitong Hell Week sa UP?
Ay nako po sir, talagang stress. At buti po nakalabas pa ako ng Hell Week.
Ay,
Kasi,
nakakatakot.
kasi sir, if I contextualize it right, even before Hell Week po, naka-experience na rin po ako ng anxiety on my academic related works. But then, buti na lang po na-realize ko na the more I focus on my problems po, the more na mas lumulubog po ako. And so, I shifted my attention po on what I can do rather than on what I cannot. And that greatly helped me po. What about you po, sir? Di ba po, bilang isa sa mga nagmamanage po ng OnLive Talks, may mga expectations and deadlines din po kayo na need ma-meet. So, paano nyo po kaya ina-attend yung stress and pressures at paano nyo po ito naiibsan?
Nako, magandang tanong kasi bago nga lang ito nag-start itong show na to, ang taas ng aking stress level. Kamusta naman ang mga challenges before the show? Video okay here and there. But yeah, while I was on my way here sa second location, I had to listen to some upbeat music. Ganun ako mag-cope, musika. And to know more about tonight's episode, let's all watch this.
So sa ethics, 5. 10! 10 sa ethics. Sa 140. 4. Sa PE. Lahat. So, 24. So guys, 24 ang kailangan kong i-clutch this week. My God! Kaya ko kaya to i-clutch? So, wait. So, mag-coffee break muna ako guys to deal with this stress.
Rick, ikaw, kamusta? Kaya pa ba ng powers natin dyan? Grabe talaga this Hell Week ba? I'm so close to breaking down na.
Hay naku, Rox, kung hindi lang talaga magaling itong prof natin sa class na ito ba, matagal na akong na-burn out. Diyos ko, sa dami ng kanyang requirements. Ay.
Alam mo, feeling ko natambakan na talaga tayo. To think na may other subjects pa. Hindi na talaga to carry ng think happy thoughts ba?
Correct. May magsabi lang sa akin na don't be so negative. Always look at the bright side. Dahil matrigger talaga ako like, it's just too much. It's not the perfect time for toxic positivity. Uy, napano ka?
Oo nga, at ano yan? Ba't para ka mag-workout? Anong oras at may deadline pa tayo bukas? Tapos ka na ba?
Hi, Rox! Hi, Rick! I'm back! Wala lang. I changed my mind. Magti-TikTok fitness break na lang muna pala ako. Ano? Pero, random. Alam niyo ba yung feeling na nalulunod ka? May mga personal problems kasi sa bahay lately eh. Tapos, nakaka-overwhelm yung mga responsibilities. Nakakainis. Kasi alam ko sa sarili ko, kaya ko naman eh. Pero, hindi ako makafocus lately.
So you expect na makabounce back agad? Wow! Sana all! Char lang. How to be you po? But seriously, I'm so sorry to hear about that. Sana okay lang kayo dyan sa family mo.
Uy, wag ka. Malay mo naman, it works for her. Alam mo, may isang prof tayo sa isang minor subject. Yung favorite ko, kasi maamo yung mukha. Nagsusulat daw yun ng gratitude journal while listening to some K-pop lo-fi chill music kapag nasistress siya. Diba? Bet!
Alam niyo, Rox, Rick, kaloka talaga. Na-overwhelm ako kasi ang rami-rami bakit sa kailangan kong habulin. Ba't ba kasi sumama ako sa high school friends ko over the weekend? Kasalanan nila to. Wow! Tagang! Langoy pa! Pero, yung totoo, masaya ako. Wow! Masaya yan! Masaya ako. Kasi, pag masaya ako, mas productive ako. Mas nakaka-focus ako. Kaya kahit late night na, bahala kayo dyan, magda-dance therapy ako.
May ganon? Matry nga. Pero wait, at parang gusto ko mag-order ng food na lang.
Ikaw talaga, stress eating yarn. Pero go lang sis. Ako naman parang gusto ko bumawi sa tulog.
Laban ng mga sis, let's go!
Ano man ang pinagdadaanan mo ngayon, pwedeng makabawi at bumangon. Feeling burdened or pakiramdam mo bang you're not in your right element when you do certain tasks gawa ng iyong pagkabalisa at stress? Huwag kang mag-alala. Lahat ng iyan ating pag-uusapan sa second episode ng On Live Talk Season 2. Ngayong gabi, June 11, kasama sina Sir P at si Margarita Eloisa Salcedo sa isa na namang makabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa mental health na pinamagatang Feeling Stressed? Let's talk about positive psychology. Dahil dito sa On Live Talks, your stories matter. On Live Talks, ikwento mo.
Kaya't ngayong gabi, ang tanong at imbitasyon natin sa lahat ay, feeling stressed? Let's talk about positive psychology. At dahil nais namin kayong maging bahagi ng ating talakayan, just simply leave your thoughts and comments on our episode tonight, or you may ask some questions to our guests on the comment section so that later we will read your insights and questions for the guests to respond to them during the second part of the show. So, kumusta everyone? Are you guys already excited to listen to our guest speakers? Because on my part, I cannot wait to enrich my knowledge as to how I could further attend on my mental health. I hope the same for you guys. And so, without further ado, Sir P?
Ayan, for tonight, we are joined by two highly in-demand or sought-after mental health practitioners. Sa field of psychology, talaga namang labs na labs sila na kanilang mga estudyante at mga kliyente. To know more who they are, tingnan natin. Okay, So, ayan, makakasama natin si Sir Novi John Palarisan, isang mental health practitioner, and of course, si Ma'am Sheena Gutierrez, isang psychology instructor. Magandang gabi sa inyong dalawa, Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena.
Good evening, Sir P.
Ayan.
Good evening, everyone.
Yun. So, loud and clear. And maraming salamat once again, Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena, for joining us for this second episode. I can't wait to see you personally, but for this online show, talagang nakaka-excite na makasama kayo. So, wag na natin patagalin pa. May mga set of questions kami. And Meg, let's begin.
Okay po, so for our first question po, ano po ang positive psychology at bakit mahalaga po itong pag-usapan? Gaya ng ano po bang mga naitutulong nito sa bawat isa at sa pang-araw-araw po nating pamumuhay? So, pwede
Yeah.
pong mauna si Ma'am Sheena or si Sir Novi po.
Okay. Sige, mauna na lang ako.
Sige, ma'am.
Bale, when we say positive psychology, it's not actually related with positive, yung toxic positivity. Magkaiba yun, di ba? Kasi when we say positive psychology, scientific pa rin ang basis niyan. But at the same time, we focus on the strengths of a person rather than focusing doon sa weakness niya o ano ang mali sa kanya. So when we say positive psychology, instead of focusing on the bad side, we focus on the positive side ng isang person and how to be mindful sa action ng isang person. So yun. So Sir Novi,
Yes, ma'am. I think I'd like to catch up sa definition ni ma'am. Bakit mahalaga itong pag-usapan? Kasi I guess mga students yung nakikinig ngayon and the UP community in general and ito yung pinaka-concern. Kasi as a person, meron tayong tinatawag na negativity bias. And in our experiences, even during childhood, teenage years, etc., we carry that negative bias sa ating mga experiences at present and our experiences in the future. Gaya ng sabi mo, Meg, di ba? It was a hell week. Bakit naging hell week siya? Maybe because it was a byproduct of that negative experiences before and you carried that to the every examinations. And it becomes your negativity bias. So, bakit mahalagang pag-usapan si positive psychology? Gaya nga ng sabi ni Ma'am Sheena, the focus is not the negativity, but the focus is the positivity. In every experiences that we have, we always gain positive and negative experiences. And because by human tendency, we tend to focus on the negativity instead of positivity. And with positive psychology, the scientific of this will help us manage and cope that negativity that may bias tayo.
and I would also like to add, no, sa culture din kasi natin as Filipinos, we're very used to focusing din on the negative side, di ba? For example, in a certain situation, mas unan talaga natin napupuna yung negativity. That's why, etong positive psychology, it's quite new in the field, but at the same time, kailangan natin mag-effort when we want to apply this in our lives. Kasi hindi tayo sanay, culturally, with positive side. So, yun.
Okay na ba? Pwede mag-insert isa na lang.
Sige po, go on po.
Okay, sige. And I'd like to use the siguro my clients in my practice. I guess siguro trauma is something that we really can that we really experience, and by what I mean by trauma is not the PTSD ha, para lang klaro. Trauma is something that subjectively we feel negatively towards any situation, and that siguro because there is lack of professionals, walang masyadong professionals, mental health professionals to that matter, na wala masyadong access si student to process that emotion, and again we carry that over to our next experiences that it only creates layers of it na nagiging nag-accumulate siya, na nagiging siyang masyado ng negative. Kaya every experiences we tend to focus more on the negativity. And again, because of positive psychology, we with this concept, it helps us focus on the positivity, the happiness, and the being resilient.
Oh, okay. Talking about being resilient, the
Mhm.
focusing on the strengths, ano-ano kaya ang mga challenges sa pagsasabuhay ng mga principles ng positive psychology sa pamilya, sa friends, sa konteksto sa ating workplace, or even in various communities such as the LGBTQIA plus communities, IP communities, at iba pang marginalized groups. At maybe pwede nating pag-usapan, na-mention kasi kanina ni Ma'am Sheena, hindi siya ganun ka-culturally integrated sa atin.
Mhm.
So, ano kaya ang mga pwedeng mga gawin considering these challenges?
Actually, sa field ng education, number one yan, challenging na siya. Most especially, for example, kami, practitioners, that we are familiar with positive psychology. We can apply it in the school, but the curriculum itself or yung setting natin sa school is hindi pa ganun ka-open for it. Plus,
Mm.
hindi lahat din, for example, in terms of teaching, no, nagtuturo ka and you apply positive psychology. Meron ka positive psychology sa classroom, pero pagdating mo sa bahay, pag uwi ng estudyante, yung environment niya is something that is causing the stress sa kanya. So, nagkakaroon ng parang dissonance in terms ng gusto niyang gawin, at
Mhm.
the same time, yung environment na saan siya nabilong. So, I think isa yan sa mga challenges, most especially sa mga estudyante ko. Sa school, ang dami mong nabibigay sa kanya na assistance, na help. Pero pagdating niya sa bahay, wala siyang support na nakukuha from the community, from the family. So, isa yan sa mga challenges na we really need to like proactively reach out kunwari sa parents, or di kaya i-explain talaga. For example, yung na-mention ni Sir Novi kanina about trauma, no? Parang
Mm.
it's pointless to help the individual about the stress or the trauma. Pero pagdating niya sa bahay, wala namang sumusuporta sa kanya when it comes to
Mhm.
coping up doon sa pag ano niya sa stress niya or sa kanyang trauma. So parang mas mahirap 'yon sa individual who is trying his or her best to really cope up and live positively. So yun, isa lang yun sa mga maraming challenges. I think marami pang ma-mention si Sir Novi.
Sige, isa lang yung ma-mention ko. Grabe. And I think everybody can relate to it, especially mga bata. Yung toxic positivity, yung na-mention kanina. Kasi iba si toxic positivity, iba si positive psychology. And we grow up in a society, in a family, or even in the school setting na our feelings are not celebrated.
Yeah.
And that can be a way that we misinterpret ano yung positive psychology. And because these emotions are not celebrated, especially the negative one, it lead to invalidation. And that invalidation can sometimes lead to personal, parang you own that invalidation that you are a failure, you are not enough, that you will fail always, something like that. And ito yung challenges. Ito yung challenge personally in my experience. Ito yung pinaka-challenge kasi we are gifted with emotion as person. And these emotions has also its equal and significant function to our life. So we have to use this even if it's a negative emotion. Kasi hindi lahat ng
Yeah.
bagay akma sa isang emotion. Like example, losing one's job, 'di ba? And we tell the people, okay lang 'yan, may rason lahat. Namatayan, okay lang 'yan. Mag-focus ka lang sa positive. We have to understand again na this is part of our existence. Our
Yeah.
emotion is part of our existence and we have to utilize it to be functioning as a person. There are situations that requires appropriate emotion and response. And if we don't use that one, it will only lead to regression and suppression of emotion. And later on, pag may mga triggers,
Mm.
sasabog ka sa person. At pag sasabog ka, sasabihin mo, hindi ko understand yung sarili ko. Hindi ako mahal ng mga tao around me. And,
Ah.
it's always a process. When we talk about mental health, it's always a process. And with positive psychology again, you have to break that cycle. Instead of focusing on the negativity, look at the positive side. While it's also important that the positive and negative emotions are, it's important to acknowledge positive
They
and negative
coexist.
emotions. They coexist together. You have
Mm.
to acknowledge both pa rin. And
Yeah.
in the process of moving forward, you acknowledge the negative. And as you move forward, you stick to the positive. What have you learned from that experience? Kaya nga with positive psychology, meron dong part doon na authenticity, how you live an authentic life. Kasi part yan of being authentic. Yan lang.
Mm. Meron akong scenario, Ma'am Sheena, Sir
Mm.
Novi, Meg. Maybe nakaka-relate tayo dito dahil personally may na-experience natin or experience natin mga friends, rejection. Let's say rejection sa isang relationship. How do you process that feeling? And Sir Novi, sabi mo to be authentic. So how do you become authentic given that you were rejected? Paano kaya yon?
Sige, ako, rejection. Ano kasi siya? Rejection is, at right now, para ma-contextualize ko lang, right now, ngayon, I was rejected by a friend. Ganun ba yung situation?
Oh,
Sir Novi.
Sige, rejection.
virtual hug.
I think in the context of positive psychology, we have to understand din kasi yung patterns of our reaction to the situation. So, bakit if there is rejection, you feel a certain kind of emotion to it, 'di ba? And to be able to manage that one, you have to understand your emotion towards it. Bakit pag may rejection, ganito ka-strong yung emotion mo to it. The negative emotion is very strong. Bakit ganito? So you have to look at your life experiences, for example, you have to look at mga unprocessed emotions. Baka you were rejected by your father before, you were rejected by a colleague before, teacher, etc. So any forms of rejection that you have experienced, you have to revisit that one. Baka the situation is not really because of a friend. It was it was a representation of the experiences before that wasn't processed. One very specific example to it is I think the trauma about the father wound, the concept that I've read, father wound. Kasi I think in general, or baka mabasa ako again, my experience is mostly may issue tayo sa father. Maybe because of the kind of culture, yung sabi ni Ma'am Sina kanina. The wounds ng father natin. And I'd like to explain it in a layman's term. The byproduct ng wounds ng the wounds that are result because of our relationship with our father is dalawa daw yan. Nagiging chaser tayo and nagiging protector tayo. So the protector means we protect ourselves. So pag may rejection, we protect ourselves. We tell, sino man siya, bakit ganyan man siya, wala naman siyang
I don't
importante sa
need
buhay
her.
ko. I don't
Yeah.
need her. That is the byproduct of it. The chaser naman is that you chase the person. Let's talk. Ganito dapat yung gawin natin, etc., etc. Yon. And sana. And because of that, basically what I'm saying is that sometimes it's not really about the rejection of a friend. Sometimes it's because of the rejection per se. And because it's a rejection, you have to understand your pattern, your emotional pattern to it. If it really is a strong emotional pattern, something that will make you not functional already, may impairment for that matter, then you have to understand where it is coming from.
Okay
Yeah.
po, so
Okay.
I'll go po, Ma'am Sheena.
Hindi, mag-agree lang ako dun sa part na actually it's more on mindfulness talaga sa emotions mo when you feel negatively about something. When you are angry, when you are rejected, bakit hurt na hurt ka? Bakit yung iba hindi hurt pero ikaw hurt na hurt ka? So going back, tracing the emotions ba, bakit ganito ang response ko compared sa response niya? Hindi naman siya ganun ka-affected. So part din yan. Ang positive psychology, it includes mindfulness ng iyong emotion. Saan ba yan galing? And sa context naman ng students, if rejection yan or failure, I let my student really, kung gusto mo mag-cry ka. Huwag mo pigilan ang sarili mo. If you want to mourn for or grieve for 3 days for failing, go ahead. But you need to be mindful na hindi ka dapat mag-dwell dyan. You can feel it. You can savor the moment. Savor it, but don't dwell on it too long. Yan, that's part of positive psychology din.
Okay. So since nagkaroon na po tayo ng iba't ibang example sa mga possible challenges na may experience po ng bawat isa and nag-identify po tayo ng mga situations like sa rejection po. Ngayon naman po, paano po kaya maisasabuhay at patuloy na maisasabuhay ng isang individual ang mga principles po ng positive psychology? 'Di ba nabanggit po kanina, we have patterns of reaction and we have to break that cycle. And so, maaari po na sa isang sitwasyon na nalampasan natin or may mga times po na pwede magkaroon tayo ng relapse, bumalik sa dati nating
Yes, yes.
paano tayo mag-address ng problem. So ano po kaya yung mga posible nilang gawin para talaga pong patuloy nilang maisabuhay ang positive psychology?
Correct, correct.
Sige, I'll start
For me,
muna.
sorry sir.
Sige.
May pilit pa sa sagot ko.
Sige.
Kamay sa baba pa.
Game show.
Baka wala na akong maisagot. But
Sige,
isa
sige.
lang talaga. I think I'd like to ano ba siya? Anchor it to my personal experience. With all the things that I've gone through in life, and I think if it's okay to disclose na I was once being codependent with a partner and alcoholic, etc., etc. And siguro people will only see the licenses that I have right now, pero they will never understand the kind of journey that I went through. And one thing that really helped me, and siguro pwedeng isabuhay using positive psychology, is gratitude. Ito talaga.
Mm.
We tend to forget always na meron tayong blessings in life. Like the moment na we're still breathing, that's that's very significant na buhay pa tayo. We still have family. Kung namatayan tayo, we still have mother. Kung walang mother, meron tayong kapatid and all that. And that's really the challenge for positive psychology, that you always have to really, really look at the things that you're grateful for. It's very effective kasi the moment you start your day being grateful for the things that you have, it changes everything.
Correct.
When again I go back to the trauma something, alam mo kung marami kang traumas in life kasi the moment you wake up, marami kang iniisip, marami kang anxiety, marami kang overthinking, and that is same before you close your eyes. Kaya nga we always escape many things. Cellphone before pagkagising and cellphone before matulog kasi ayaw natin silang i-entertain. And in order to break that cycle, negative cycle, you start your day after waking up, then you count things that you're very grateful for. Gising ka, may pangarap ka, may buhay ka, etc., etc. And the same way before you go to sleep, identify even just one experience that you're very grateful for. Kasi positivity naman, it's same also with negativity. When you dwell with negativity, it creates a ripple effect to that matter. Why not do it in the positive? Why not focus it on a positive and create some many ripple effect to that in your life para maging ma-shift yung focus mo. Instead of the negativity, magiging positive siya. And that has helped me even up to this present. Even if the rejection, marami pa ring rejection kasi that's part of our existence. Pero because I dwell on the things that I learned from that experience, I dwell on the things that is what is at present, especially on the things that I'm very grateful for, and it has break that cycle of negativity, especially in the negative pattern of thinking.
Wow.
Wow.
What about you, Ma'am Sheena?
Madagdag ko ba ako dun? Yeah, keeping a gratitude journal helps. I also keep a gratitude journal. No? Every day, before ako mag-end ng day ko, I jot down what am I grateful for? 1 to 2 things. At least you will end your day positively, no? Thanking God kung ano man yung mga natapos mo. And then, it is also important that you plan ahead. Plan ahead and self-aware ka. Kasi if you know yourself and alam mo kung ano yung mga ano yung mga triggers mo, kailan ka na-upset, ano yung mga things na kailangan mong iwasan, that all entails planning. And it also entails self-awareness. You cannot plan if you do not know yourself. So before, when I was in college, I have a really poor self-esteem. And we were already informed na when we graduate, we will be having several months of being rejected sa mga applications sa job. So what I did, because I am quite forgetful before, plus mababa yung self-esteem, I jot down on the days that I feel good about myself, I jot down my strengths. Yung maalala ko talaga kung ano yung kaya kong gawin. Because on those days that you will be rejected, you will need that reminder. I put that in my wallet, and then on those days that I am rejected, I look at those lists na meron naman akong worth. Hindi naman talaga dahil na-reject ako sa work, wala na talaga akong worth as a person. That helped me in my younger days. And now, hindi ko na kailangan i-jot down kasi alam ko naman kung ano yung mga strengths ko, mga weaknesses. But it also helps that you remind yourself every once in a while. Meron ka ba dyang mga notes nakalagay dyan? Or meron ka bang mga friends who will remind you about your worth? That also helps. So yun, mga practical ways yun of how you can live a positive psychology in your life.
Wow. Actually, na-amaze ako. Feeling ko wala ako sa online show. Parang nasa recollection or counseling. Alam mo
Same
ba
po,
yung feeling
sir.
ko parang I'm controlling my emotions. Parang naiiyak ako eh. But ang sarap nga ng ating usapan. But we need to pause for a break. But when we return, we'll cater to some questions prepared to us by some members from our UP Mindanao community and also from our Facebook Live. All that and more only here on Live Talks. Ikwento mo.
An educational institution bound to honor and excellence. The University of the Philippines Mindanao has made significant leaps in its commitment to serve the people. Since 1995, UP Mindanao has experienced unprecedented heights of development. New academic infrastructures were built at strategic locations in the campus, and more avenues for interdisciplinary academic exchange were developed. These were made possible with the support from the national government, UP system, UP alumni, and the private sector. Since then, UP Mindanao revisited its mandates anew, and with the help of internal and external partners near and far, UP Mindanao became a responsive and relevant university in terms of academic, research, and public service anchored on these 3 key themes. UP Mindanao focuses its efforts to recruit the best and brightest Filipinos and Mindanaoans to become ethical and excellent leaders of the nation. This is possible thanks to its distinct student and learning experience, along with improved current academic programs and upcoming academic offerings that are responsive and relevant to the needs of Mindanao and the rest of the country. Due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, various activities from different parts of the globe are highly affected. Despite the odds, UP Mindanao continues to implement academic, research, and public service programs with respect to attaining the UN Millennium Sustainable Development Goals. UP Mindanao's 204 hectares of titled land is located in Mintal, Davao City, designated for higher level education, research and development in the arts and culture, and sustainable agri and biosystems of Mindanao. This initiative will serve UP Mindanao's current and future graduate programs, as well as creating a unique living experience for its students, employees, and visitors. As the world is gearing up for a new kind of normalcy, the university is ready to evolve into a smart campus for learning, development, and innovation. The Committee on Ligtas Balik Eskwela prepares UP Mindanao for the resumption of face-to-face classes by formulating and testing guidelines consistent with government directives. These initiatives are only possible with the unyielding support of UP Mindanao stakeholders, its students, faculty, staff, alumni, friends, and partners. They aspire to make UP Mindanao's vision a reality, not just for Mindanao, but for the Philippines and for humanity.
Muli po, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat, and we're back here on the second episode of Online Talk Season 2, Ikwento Mo. And tonight, we've been talking about feeling stressed. Let's talk about positive psychology. I'm Margarita Salcedo.
And this is Sir P.
And we're still with our guests from the field of psychology, Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena. This time naman po for our second segment, we'll ask our guests some questions from the UP Mindanao community po through pre-recorded videos. Any of you po, Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena, may start sharing your thoughts po or insights po depending on the question. But we will only give you po 2 to 4 minutes to answer our question. So, let's proceed na po. For our first question, it was from Miss Donetta Merca, a BACMA student po. And let's watch this video.
Good day, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. My question for our guest tonight would be, what advices can you give to people who are having a hard time opening up to others and seeking for help during their emotional and mental fights?
Ayun, nabanggit ni Donetta, no? Mental fight, so something internal. So how do you encourage individuals to share or to open up or to seek help?
Sige, if you're a student, if you're a student in any institution, make sure to visit the guidance office. If you're out of school youth, make sure to visit the parish church. Visit or go to any mentor that can help you. Know that you're not alone in this battle, and know that all the things that you're experiencing are all valid.
Bilang ikaw ay Vice President ng Davao Association of Guidance Counselors, it's good that we promote our services ng ating mga guidance counselors. Thank you, Sir Novi. Ma'am Sheena, any thoughts?
You can also look for a trusted friend. Kasi regardless kung ano yung battle mo, no, it really helps if you share it with someone na maka-understand din sa'yo. So, I know na mga tao dito, alaman talaga natin kung sino ang trusted friend natin. So, hindi helpful talaga carrying the battle alone. Kasi that's the devil's bath. If you are alone, marami ka naiisip, that's the opportunity ng enemy to really manipulate you and help you. So, it's helpful to share it with someone you trust.
May follow-up question ako. What if this trusted friend is not mentally available or nasa hindi stable din siya na mental state, but you know and you trust him? You know
You
that
can
he could...
seek out a professional help pa rin. Kagaya nung sinabi ni Sir Novi, lahat naman ng schools, if you are in the school, may guidance counselor naman tayo. Or di kaya mga teachers na you can, the teachers can also listen to you once in a while during consultation. Yun.
All right. Very clear. Thank you. Let's now have the second question. This time it's from Ma'am Annalisa Fulvadora, former UP staff regent. Let's all watch this.
During the pandemic, the work from home arrangement or the alternative work arrangement that is being implemented by the agencies and the institutions was of a big help in the overall mental well-being of the personnel because they get spend more time with the kids at home, finding new hobby, etc. But now, when the situation is improving, we are now starting to report back to work physically. However, there are still some personnel who are now having difficulties in transitioning back to the usual schedule, which at times affecting other colleagues in the delivery of their work. So my question is, what positive interventions or programs can you suggest to the management or administration to encourage personnel to report back to work physically?
Ayan, policy recommendation daw po para sa mga
Mhm.
organizations.
Okay. Bilang galing sa HR ng
Naman.
UPMIN, I think ang pinakaunang kailangan natin i-assess is ano ba yung mga things that these employees are holding on to sa bahay. Ano ba ang
Mhm.
concern nila? Baka kasi may concern sila sa pag-alaga ng kanilang anak. So most probably baka pwede makabigay ang administration ng alternative for that. Or ang problem ba nila is ang transportation, masyado bang malayo?
Hmm.
Then it all goes with assessment. I-assess talaga natin. Tanungin din natin yung sa loobin ng ating mga employees kasi baka tayo lang ang nag-assume na they really like working at home pero yun pala in reality meron talaga mga factors na nag-a-affect kaya hindi sila makapunta, ayaw nila magpunta doon sa
Mhm.
workplace or takot ba sila. So kailangan ba natin ng professionals na mag-process sa emotions nila kasi even in my students yan din ang anxiety nila eh. What if pagbalik na sa face to face, so baka hindi ko ma-close yung mga friends ko, naka-chat ko, or baka
Yeah.
hindi kami parehas sa online and sa face to face, ganun. So I think it all goes down with questioning yung mga people concerned. Ano ang needs nila.
So I think nasabi na ni Ma'am, but yun, training needs assessment, that's very important, and strong talaga na mental health policy and program. If kung pwede, meron tayong, I think it's already applied in some of the schools, meron tayong wellness programs weekly, monthly, or quarterly, or simply kamustahan sessions para we integrate them back to the
Mhm.
new normal again kasi or to the post pandemic na setup ulit. So yun.
Gusto ko yung kumustahan sessions. I think it's a good way to help individuals establish that fellowship because of the
Community.
remote setup. It feels like everyone is pretty much distant. I think it would really be of good help. Right, Meg?
Yes po, sir. And ngayon naman po, let's proceed for the last question po. And our last question was sent to us by Sir Michael Gatella, Director of UP Mindanao Ugnayan ng Pahinugot. So let us again watch this video.
Gabi po sa lahat. Ako po si Mike. Ang tanong ko po ay ito. Ano po yung mga tips or activities that you can recommend that will help us have a positive outlook in facing the challenges and stressful situations brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic?
It's
Sige,
really
I'll
good to
start
see
first.
Sir Mike. Saka Sir Ma'am Lisa. Anyway, sige go sir.
Sige, quick lang. Start your healing journey now. Maybe if you haven't started it, you have to start it now. You have to break that negativity bias of yours, the
Mhm.
traumas you experienced before, and all the things that you can't really understand about yourself. Healing journey is a solo task. You just have to endure it.
Ayun, nabasa ko yung post ng Pusong Psikolohikal about that. It was today, I think, and it was just about
Kanina
the
lang.
emphasis of, kanina lang, the importance of our healing journey, although it is pretty much challenging dahil parang solo journey siya, but it's necessary. What about you,
Correct.
Ma'am Sheena?
Okay, you go back to I still go back to self-awareness. Kasi if you know what really interests you, it will really help you find your hobbies. No, I am doing my research as of the moment. Tapos, nag-interview ako. Meron kasi kaming ginawang mechanism eh. Pinili namin among the faculty ng isang private school yung mga flourishing ang mental health. And isang best practice na notice ko sa kanila was mindful sila, aware sila sa mga strengths and weaknesses nila, aware sila sa kanilang mga interest, and they took time during the pandemic to do those things that they do not do but they are interested with. Like for example, sa music, mahilig sila sa music. Ang iba nakabili ng keyboards and they were able to play the piano during the pandemic. Yung iba baking because they love baking, yung iba is gardening. So I guess ang answer is still nasa iyo. You just have to dig deeper and mag-meeting kayo paminsan-minsan ng self mo. Hindi yung always sa
Correct.
social media, ibang tao kausap mo. Bakit hindi mo kilalanin yung self mo? There are reasons bakit yung mga youth ngayon, they don't want to be alone because they don't want to get along with their selves. So, kailangan kilalanin nyo ang sarili nyo. Wala naman kayo ibang kasama kundi sarili nyo. So, kaibiganin nyo yan. At
Correct.
kilalanin nyo ano ang ayaw niya at saka anong gusto niya. Tignan nyo si Sir Novi, enjoy siya na mag-isa, mag-travel because they get along with themselves. No?
Walang love life, ma'am.
Kasi namin,
Kapang love life na yan.
Para ma-plug lang.
binibenta pa namin si Sir Novi. So, yun, it goes back to yourself pa din.
Ayan. Well, it's true and it's important that we practice healthy interpersonal relationship. It's also necessary to have that intrapersonal relationship and communication. May tanong ako, Megs. Nabanggit mo kanina sa start ng show, na during the Hell Week, it was very challenging and all that. Baka meron kang personal na tanong na pwedeng makatulong sina Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena.
Okay po. So, during the before Hell Week po, I was really struggling for months. Kasi po, on my part, ang nangyari po is I failed to pass agad one requirement. And then, nagpatong-patong siya. And then I realized na I wasn't really flexible pala. Na parang hindi ko, parang kapag na-stuck ako sa isang gawain, hindi ako maka-proceed sa ibang bagay kasi parang gusto ko 'to tapusin. Tapos hanggang sa wala pala akong natatapos. So na um nasolusyonan ko lang siya, parang nakahanap ako ng solution nung mga malapit na yung Hell Week. So mas dumagdag yung parang pressure, yung stress. So ano po kaya yung mga pwede ko pang gawin or mga reminder nyo or pwede nyo pang i-advise po sa akin? Kasi medyo nahihirapan po ako dun sa parang kapag hindi ko natapos, hindi ako magpo-proceed. Parang ganun po yung naging thinking ko nung mga times na yon.
Oh.
So, Meg, sino mag-a-adjust? Kasi ngayon, meron ka ng awareness. Meron ka ng awareness na parang it's not working. So, the next time that you will be able to encounter the same situation, di ba sabi nila, ang mga fools daw, they expect different outcome, pero same pa rin yung ginagawa nila. So, I think the best way to do is, di ba, nag-evaluate ka sa sarili mo. So, the next time, alam mo na hindi nag-work yun. So, you learn to adjust pa konti-konti. Hindi naman biglaan. Pero like, hindi pa, pwede pala ako mag-move on sa ibang task kahit pa konti-konti. Kasi ayaw ko na ma-stuck na ako ulit. So, learning from what you have experienced will also help you na mag-improve next time. Yun. Sir Novi?
Quick lang, learn to understand your context, your story, and learn to manage your expectations. Sometimes kasi when we start school task, ang taas ng expectation natin sa sarili natin. And that can be because of the behind story na meron tayo. Maybe it's about time that you understand and accept and embrace the story you have para you will able to manage your expectations, both to yourself and how you see life.
Meg, ang dami kong kakilalang estudyante dyan sa UP Min. Halos ganyan yung mga problema nila. Kasi masyado silang ano yan, masyadong mataas ang standard na siniset nila. Pero hindi siya nagmamatch sa reality. So I think kailangan natin babaan konti yung expectations natin. Kasi sabi nga ni William Shakespeare, di ba, it's the root cause of all heartaches, yung mga expectations na yan. So babaan natin, medyo maging realistic tayo.
Ma'am Sheena, dapat mag-book sila ng session sa akin. Charla.
Yes. Pusong psychological.
Yun ang bottom line.
Why not, di ba? Meron akong follow-up question na banggit nga ni Meg, yung ganyang struggle. Maybe this could be true to some students or to some audiences too. Paano naman yung tipong nagagawa mo ang mga task mo on time, you submit them on time, but once you submit them, you feel that there's certain anxiety na parang dapat naka-move on ka na kasi na-submit mo na but you keep on, like, there's this indwelling feeling na, tama ka to, or paano kaya ito, post-submission anxiety.
Yan, magpabook na talaga kay Sir Novi.
Ikaw ba ang kinakausap?
Kasi kailangan mo mag-investigate why you are feeling that way. Ano bang, tapos na naman, so bakit hindi ka makamove on? Bakit recur always yung thoughts na gano'n? So, baka magdating sa point ba na hindi mo na siya makontrol. So, as much as possible that you are still aware and conscious that you can seek help. Kasi marami ka nang tinry, nag-inom ka na ng mga iba't ibang dyan, hindi nag-work yung mga mo. So, try mo mag-seek ng help if hindi pa rin nasubukan yung mga self-help na nabasa mo. Tapos pabuka kay Sir Novi.
Sure. Available 24/7.
Ay, 24/7 na ba, Sir Novi?
Joke lang, sir.
Hoy, patulugin niyo si Sir Novi. Positive psych.
Okay. Yes. Oo nga naman, positive lang tayo sa scheduling din natin. So, we don't have much time. Masarap nga ng usapan. Parang kulang na lang kape, di ba? I will now proceed to the new segment for this show. It's called On Live Quick Talk. It's similar to Boy Abunda's Fast Talk. All you need to do is just to simply choose between these two options. No need for explanation. Sasali din kami ni Meg. Ayan. So, parang masaya.
Ang arrangement po ay?
Yan, si Sir Novi, si Ma'am Sheena, si Meg, and then ako.
Okay.
Ayan. So, quick talk ha. So, mabilis ang sagot. Alright, so here's the first item. 3, 2, 1. Going out with friends outdoors or staying at home for some me time?
Going out with friends outdoors.
Going out with friends outdoors.
Staying at home for some me time.
Going out. Mamaya I will go out. Okay. Here's the
So
second
next
item.
naman po ay music jam or total silence?
Total silence.
Music jam.
Music jam.
Music jam. Pero nahirapan ako dan. Okay. Yeah. But third, to schedule time with friends or to schedule counseling whenever there are personal problems.
To schedule counseling whenever there are personal problems.
Schedule time with friends.
Schedule time with friends din po.
Schedule time with friends. But I think need din mag-counseling.
I both.
Both. All right, number 4.
So number 4 po, to catch up with sleep first or to catch up with food or meals?
Sleep first.
Food is life.
To catch up with sleep.
Food. Kakain ako after this. And finally, movie or series break or journal writing break?
Journal writing break.
Oh.
Both. Hirap naman mamili. Both.
Journal writing break.
I'm poor at writing journals. May pinagawa nga sa akin si Sir Novi. Sir Novi, sorry ha. Yung kala mo 2020. Ayan, so I'll choose movie break. Alright, so there you have it. Ang saya, no? Parang lang, kwentuhan mo sa kanto. So maraming salamat for this segment, Ma'am Sheena and Sir Novi.
Okay, so again po, maraming salamat po, Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena, for making our discussion on positive psychology highly insightful and worthwhile. Kami po, kasama ang lahat ng miyembrong bumubuo ng OnLive Talks at pati po sa UP Mindanao ay taos-pusong nagpapasalamat sa inyong panahong inilaan upang magbahagi ng inyong karanasan at kaalaman sa ating mga viewers. And at this part of our program po, we would like to ask you po, Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena, for your final message to our viewers, either a reminder or advice po na gusto ninyong iwan sa kanila at mas bigyang diin.
Sige,
Okay.
ako muna.
Go, Sir Novi.
Sige, si Ma'am Sheena.
Go na, Sir Novi.
Sige, okay. Ang sarap maging tao. You have to enjoy the person that to be a person, and that comes with emotions. So enjoy those emotions, use those emotions, but do not dwell on those emotions. Make it a transition stage, but never make it your home. Your home is happiness. Your home is compassion. Your home is love. You deserve all the best and the happiest in life.
Ganda naman nun. Na-pressure ako.
Oo, di ba?
Sa akin naman, I'll end up with one word: embrace. No, you embrace not just the good side or the good parts of yourself. Include mo pag-embrace even yung negative side mo, so that you will be self-aware and you can plan ahead and you can live positively. No, you can coexist with your negative side and makaplan ahead ka. Paano mo i-increase yung strengths mo. So the key there is yourself talaga. So love yourself, guys.
Mm-mm. Diba, unahin ang sarili, but because if you don't know how to love yourself, it's very difficult to love others. And sadly, we have to end this show. Nakakabitin man, but maraming salamat Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena for being so generous with your insights. Feeling ko nga parang gusto ko pa. We have to meet. Yun yung point ko. So we have to meet. So once again, daghang salamat Sir Novi and Ma'am Sheena mula sa amin dito sa Online Talks. Have a good night. And yan. Meg, kamusta? Diba? Ang
Nako,
sarap sa
sir.
feeling.
Opo, nakakabusog po talaga ng mga information and bagong knowledge na talagang maia-apply ko sa aking sitwasyon. And for sure, ganoon din po sa ating mga viewers. Alam mo, sir, ang pinaka nagustuhan ko talaga dito is, parang yung tips na, kalimitan kasi na-overlook natin yung pagiging grateful. 'Di ba? Parang, minsan kasi akala natin normal na lang yon, hindi na natin na-appreciate even yung mga maliliit na bagay. So, I really guess na we should really have to practice being grateful. Kasi kapag naging grateful tayo, mas magkakaroon din tayo ng self-awareness and mas magiging mindful tayo sa mga patterns ng reaction natin and kung paano natin maia-address yon. Tama po ba, sir?
Totoo yun. At saka nabanggit mo nga, at nabanggit ng ating mga guests ang mindfulness a lot of times. And I think it would help if we have this right support system, either from our families or friends. Sadly, hindi po lahat ng households ay may enabling environment for support. But if you don't have that, you can seek help from your schoolmates or from your friends. And with that, you'll be able to proceed with life and to prosper. And sadly, nakakalungkot man, iba-iba ang mga challenges na dumadating sa atin. May mga times talaga na may mga delubyo pa, no, for some people. But then again, yun na, we have to look at the brighter side and proceed with a positive hope in life. All right, so mula sa amin, sa buong produksyon ng OnLive Talks on behalf of Professor Ina Olivares Dizon, and of course si Ma'am Creel, Sir Mark, ang ating TD for tonight, si Ed, and of course Meg, thank you so much sa lahat ng mga volunteers, lalo na sa mga nag-produce ng situationer videos and reels, at sa lahat ng mga nag-help out sa social media. Thank you so much. Muli, ito si Sir P, and we see you again next week para sa OnLive Spotlight. Masaya ito, promise.
And this has been Margarita Salcedo. Nako mga ka-OnLive, huwag niyong kalimutang mag-like, follow, and subscribe sa aming mga social media accounts sa Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type OnLive Talks and i-click nyo na yan para makakatch up sa aming mga kwentuhan. Again, I am Margarita Salcedo saying the only way to do more is to know more. Thank you
Yes.
so much for watching. At manatiling nakatutok dito lamang sa OnLive Talks.
Ikwento mo.
Ikwento mo.